Here's what Family Guy thinks about Bill Clinton.
Liberal chubby chaser!
Oh, well, if you can't laugh at yourself.
You think that's bad? Just look at what they did with Trump. Family Guy has thrown so much shade at presidents that they should be considered a threat to national security. So today, I'm putting it to the test. I'm taking every president that's been roasted in Family Guy and putting them in a head-to-head competition to see which presidents have had it worse between Democrats or Republicans. Starting off for Team Democrats, we got the first black president of the United States,
Barack Obama!
You gotta be sincere.
In New Kidney in Town, Meg and Chris win their school's essay contest and get the honor of introducing President Barack Obama. And here I was thinking he was about to give some kind of inspirational speech or something. But no, Family Guy turns him into a black Elvis Presley. Or blacker Elvis Presley.
See, if you're really sincere, if you feel it in here, then it's gotta be right.
Believe me when I say this is far from the meanest thing Family Guy has ever said about a president. Next, we have our first rep for the Republicans, and one who's been a roast victim for the show more times than any other president.
Damn. Laura! Laura!
George W. Bush. He's one of the presidents Family Guy loves to portray as a full-on man-child, and if you know anything about the Bush era, you know the media constantly poked fun at him for being not the brightest. So the Family Guy writers basically took that idea and cranked it up to 1,000, putting both parties at a tie. Let's tag Obama back into the ring because this next Obama gag had me rolling, and it's actually one of the more popular ones. In Peter, Chris, and Brian, Peter runs into a problem that only he could ever relate to. He left his old stash at his childhood home and decides to break in to get it back. And what better way to do it than this?
You all remember the plan. We walk up wearing our Bill Cosby masks.
That's President Obama.
Oh, did I just do a racism?
Yeah, I think you just did. Mistaking Barack Obama for Bill Cosby, yeah, do I really need to say anything more about that? And with that, the Democrats are ahead once more. Let's see what George Bush's response is. After the Griffin family turns into a band of superstars, Meg starts to act like a spoiled brat. But Peter has absolutely no complaint. After all, it's almost as epic as the time he was at the White House.
Mr. President, I present to you Peter Griffin.
What an unnecessary way to drag the president into a conversation. Then again, is there ever a necessary way? Reddit users actually argue otherwise, insisting that the George Bush gags used to be way funnier back in the day. And honestly, this whole man-baby Bush routine has gotten pretty old. So I guess the writers decided to get creative, because in PTV, after Peter misses the Emmy Awards, our former president ends up catching a stray bullet all over again.
So let's kick some ass.
The war's over.
What?
Yeah, it's done. It's 1981.
So I'm way late. Oh, boy.
Yeesh. Now I gotta break it down for you here. Not only are they portraying him as a simple-minded man, but they're also roasting him for dodging the Vietnam War back in the day. It was widely believed that Bush joined the National Guard to avoid being deployed, so yeah. Family Guy writers, shade seen and shade delivered successfully, putting the Republicans further with 1 point. Back to the Democrats, we have a strongly featured President Bill Clinton. After Peter falls asleep on his job, he gets fired by his boss, and it makes him want to lose his mind. I mean, he has a wife, 3 kids, and a dog that surprisingly relies on him, so with no options left, he gets struck with the idea to apply for welfare. 1 or 2 mistakes are made, and he's given $150 grand, and who else in the Oval Office is to blame?
President, why do you think the American public has continued to support you? Probably because you're so fat.
Fun fact, Bill Clinton was actually the first president Family Guy ever roasted. I guess that earns the Democrats a couple of bonus points. Just kidding. According to the show, Clinton is way too busy drinking to even realize he just signed off on Peter's accidental welfare jackpot. Up next, we have a simple roast after Meg and Chris are dared to steal George Bush's underwear, and they sneak in more jabs at the president.
Look how organized he is. Sugar cut up into neat little lines for his breakfast tomorrow.
Who's gonna tell them? First of all, let's talk about those pics with him and Ronald Reagan, Osama bin Laden, and the devil. These guys really poke till they draw blood, and it's not just that.
What are you kids doing here? You tell Javier to back off. I'll have his money by next week. Never mind. Hey, you guys want to see something? Grab a beer and follow me.
Not only is the president doing but apparently he's giving alcohol to teenagers now. These guys knew they were walking on a tight rope, so the next time we see George Bush, it's back to his former self.
Hey, Georgie.
Uncle Rush!
Hey, whoo, you are getting heavy.
I'm 64 3/4. Hey, you got one for me?
What are you talking about?
Come on.
Wait a second.
Yay! Thanks, Uncle Rush.
That puts the Republicans ahead by 2 points, and the Democrats sitting pretty at 4. A solid roast, but nothing compared to this.
Hey, your turn to spin the bottle, guy dressed like Bill Clinton.
Yeah, dressed like. All right, let's go make some whitewater.
Genuinely speechless. Imagine the President of the United States disguising himself as a teenager just to blend in with a bunch of high schoolers and hook up with minors. A whole new tier of what were they thinking? And honestly, it makes you wonder if the writers are poking fun of the Bill Clinton-Epstein controversy, because this gag feels way too pointed to be a coincidence, and it don't stop there.
Oh, what the hell? Come here, Hillary.
That clip's meant to show how people react in the face of an apocalypse, and as always, Family Guy's Bill Clinton never fails to amaze me and just put the two parties back at a tie. Next up, we have Theodore Roosevelt, popularly known as Teddy Roosevelt, representing the Republicans. While at the mall, Brian sees a hot staff member at the jewelry section, and rather than admit that she's out of his feckin' league, he decides to act to impress her.
I have, like, a thing for rich guys.
I'll take the ring, and I'll take your number.
Here you go.
Smooth. You can always count on Brian to get the ladies. And fortunately for him, he has a backup plan, so he doesn't break the bank.
That ring is $10,000. Relax, Stewie. I'll get a refund and she'll never know, like Teddy Roosevelt getting to be on Mount Rushmore.
I won the Revolutionary War.
I won the Civil War.
I gained possession of Guam.
Oh, that roast came and went so fast you'd miss it if you blinked. And having Theodore lie about gaining possession of Guam? Yeah, that was the final nail in the coffin. Fun fact, it was William McKinley who... you don't care. While we're at it, let's make his opponent on the Democratic side someone in the Roosevelt family.
But what am I doing? I don't have a fancy house. I'm living a lie, like FDR.
We are going to win this war, and there's no reason to suspect that I cannot walk.
And cut. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome, gentlemen.
You can always count on the writers to double down on the disabled jokes. Just look at what they do to Joe every other episode. And speaking of that, it reminds me of another roast. In Peter's Def Jam, Peter and the guys get tired of their usual routine of sitting around at the clam doing nothing, so they decide to start a podcast. Naturally, Peter goes off the rails, turns himself into a DJ, and the ship sinks immediately.
We've always had each other's backs, like when we used to rob banks in lesser-known presidents' masks.
Remember to tell everyone who did this.
Who are you guys supposed to be?
I'm James K. Polk. He's Millard Fillmore. He's William Henry Harrison.
You should have been FDR. Because of the, you know.
The wheelchair doesn't define me.
And I'm Grover Cleveland. Funny, because my name's Cleveland.
The struggles of the disabled, Joe, FDR, and randomly Grover Cleveland got roasted in the same breath. Only difference is that one got crippled in a Christmas freak accident while the other got polio, and Cleveland's just happy to be included, I guess. That's a hard roast to counter, which is why we'll bring on the big guns for the Republicans. Donald Trump. He's got tons of roasts. I'm gonna wean you into them bit by bit. Let's start with Chris's attempt to make Meg cry by showing her sad videos.
I was old for a while, I could smile for but I saw you last night as you stopped.
Big shocker there. The next Trump roast lands so unexpectedly you might even miss it. But don't worry, I'll break it down for you. Apparently, we get a surprise visit from an unexpected president.
Husband write me impertinent email. Any American can beat up any Russian. I am here to prove him wrong.
You're gonna beat up my husband?
Unless he American chicken.
Did you just call me chicken?
You'd think Peter had enough IQ to know that a 270-pound American who drowns himself in beer all day wouldn't stand a chance against a Russian president who intimidates the world and probably wrestles bears before frackin' breakfast. Who am I kidding? Dude's probably allergic to apples. But nope, he picks up the gauntlet and they have a very unfair fight.
Oh, here comes the haymaker. You had enough?
Nothing surprising there. I mean, Putin's widely known for not exactly fighting fair. As a judo fighter, he's even been stripped of his title and black belt for staged matches and bending the rules. And in politics, you expect him to play any differently? And while Peter suffers in anguish, Putin's gonna go see to other important matters.
Oh, looks like Putin's phone is buzzing.
Very questionable bromance, but who am I to question it? I'd rather just jump straight to see what the Democrats have in store for us. Hopefully they can catch up with this familiar face. Yep, Bill Clinton. While Peter and Brian play detective trying to figure out who Loretta's mysterious lover is, Quagmire, guilty as a salty Pringle, reflects on his past.
This is worse than that time I had to fess up to the nation. I have not been entirely truthful with you. I did gagoogity that girl. I geschmoigitied her geflavity with my googus, and I am sorry.
All that gibberish was a cold shade to President Bill Clinton involving a scandal that he was having an affair with Monica Lewinsky. One minute he was denying it, and the second minute he says, "Indeed, I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate. In fact, it was wrong. Personally, I prefer Quagmire's version." And with that, the score is 10-9, with Republicans not just roasting, but burning in the flames. This time, we're going to introduce a different popular Republican.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Reagan, smash.
Oh, it's just Reagan. Just leave him alone.
Reagan sleepy.
Kinda reminds me of Frankenstein. For those who don't know, Ronald Reagan famously said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall," in a speech challenging the Berlin Wall, obviously not a McDonald's wall. What's even funnier is that it's not even the wildest thing they made him do. In the episode Family, Peter gets injected with the gene and mentions other celebrities.
Packed? Well, you could say that. There was a missile, and something definitely got packed.
Did you discuss ICBMs?
Well, I did see a BM.
So, would you consider this a successful summit?
I summited 3 times.
Nice wordplay, but I absolutely don't want to have a picture of Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev tearing down each other's walls in my head. Speaking of which, in Quagmire's Baby, Peter buys a knockoff radio from Quagmire and starts tuning through the static so he can hear ghosts, and surprisingly...
Who's this?
This is Ronald Reagan.
The guy that used to that 70-pound witch?
Former President of the United States.
Oh my God! Hey, Quagmire, guess who I'm talking to right now?
Ain't no way he's referring to the First Lady like that. It's gonna be hard for the Democrats to stand the heat of Reagan's roasts. See how they're down 4 points? So we'll bring in a president with a namesake from the show. President Grover Cleveland, while trying to diss President Donald Trump, by the way. You're gonna want to stick around for that one. Peter compares him to the presidents that came before him.
I'm the president.
Well, you're not a very good one. Like that guy. Or that one. Or that one. Hey, which one is that, anyway?
I'm Grover Cleveland, the only president to be married in the White House.
What a nice story.
I married a girl who I'd raised since the time she was 11 years old.
You know what? Some of these roasts aren't even roasts. They're just a History Channel reminding us of stuff that actually happened. And yes, Grover Cleveland did do all that. Mind you, he was 39 at the time, yet not a good presidential look. Currently, the Republicans are in the lead here, with the score being 13 in their favor to the Democrats' 10. And we're about to tag in our next Republican. In the episode Girlfriend A, Lois and Meg find themselves with a very unexpected problem. They call in a handyman to fix a broken wall, but the guy shows up looking like he was handy in more ways than one. Instead of acting like a normal family and not letting some six-pack heartthrob get between them, they immediately start fighting for his attention.
That's how my doctor was like, "Oh my gosh, you're so young."
Mom, I'm doing a school report. Who was president when you were born?
Oh, you Clinton. Dwight D. Clinton.
That was some underhanded tactics right there, Meg. Lois avoided saying Eisenhower to hide her age. At the end of that gag, they showed this.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman because I am extremely old and have a windsock.
Did not need to know that, Mr. President. Just kidding. It's clearly a voiceover of Eisenhower's video. Is there such a thing as too low on this show? To counter this, we're gonna have to bring back the Democrat president that they were clearly referencing in that bit, Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton got roasted so bad that he's one of the few presidents who had a whole episode mostly about him. Republicans are leading with 4 points, but let's see what he has to say about that. The episode is Bill and Peter's Bogus Journey.
Bill Clinton was in town today to judge Quahog's annual Miss Cankle USA contest.
Now that's a cankle. Where does the calf fat end and the ankle fat begin? Who knows? That's the fun.
After somehow losing a fight with an octopus, don't ask, Peter decides it's time to hit the gym. And that little burst of motivation gives him a sudden wave of confidence, especially after he gets a surprise visit.
Yeah, what's the problem?
We're with President Clinton's motorcade. He blew a tire in front of your house. Would you happen to have a jack we could borrow?
I am a jack. Come on, I'll lift that thing for you.
The only jack Peter's ever been is the jack of all weird trades and the master of destruction, but I guess the president has bigger things to worry about.
Appreciate your help, man. We're a little overloaded because I'm having a fat chick party back here. I've turned off the AC. First one to have a bead of neck sweat reach their butt crack wins.
And with how often the show teases Bill Clinton with chubby women, you'd think there was some deep-cut controversy behind it, but no, the truth is way simpler. Bill Clinton was actually the one who was overweight as a teenager. In his own words, he was the fat band boy. Anyway, back to Peter. Confidence alone doesn't give you super strength, and he learns that the hard way.
Lift with your lower back in a jerking, twisting motion. Call an ambulance!
So which one of y'all ain't got my herpes yet?
Let's pretend we didn't just hear Bill Clinton in the back trying to share the herpes like food stamps. At least he visits Peter while he's in the hospital, and while he's there, he surprisingly makes Peter feel better. Not only that, they arrange a boys' trip to make Peter feel young again.
Oh no, a pizza's ready!
Tag out, man! I'm a Barbie girl, wrapped in plastic. It's fantastic. Yeah.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The two of them do every childish thing in the book. I'm talking about prank calls, smoking a joint at the back of the presidential limo, and stealing a pig. You know, the usual stuff. And as usual, Peter lets it bleed into his home life, and Lois has had enough of whatever this is.
Peter! Oh, let me make you some coffee.
She does the mature thing and grounds him from spending any more time with that bad influence, president. So she decides to be the woman of the house and take matters into her own hands by confronting Bill Clinton herself. And things don't exactly go the way she plans.
Wow, you certainly are very persuasive.
Hey, you want to give me that cigar? I'm ready to smoke it now.
Just when you think it couldn't get any worse, Peter walks in and catches them red-handed. Lois tries to apologize, but some things hit deeper than a quick sorry, so to make things better, she offers that he should get laid too. That way they're equal. Naturally, Peter chooses to get it on with one of the few people that shouldn't be on the list.
Mom, would you have sex with Peter?
Of course, dear.
Really?
Carter's been most insufferable lately, and this would just stick in his craw.
But it's your craw I'm after.
Yeah, even though she gave him the go-ahead, she still feels terrible that Peter hooked up with her own mother. Go figure. It's like that wasn't the solution to fix her marriage or something. But right when she's about to throw in the towel, Peter admits that he cannot go through with it. Honestly, it's a surprisingly sweet moment, something that you don't get from the show these days. And to finally settle the whole mess once and for all, he decides to clear the air with Clinton.
Hey, listen, Bill, you and I need to have a talk. Boy, you are good. You are really good.
Well, God bless America. Now, I'm not sure how the Republicans can beat that, because thanks to Clinton being so easy to poke fun at, the scores are currently even at 14. So let's call on one of the heavyweight icons.
Stupid hat. Damn it. I paid 15 cents for this ticket.
Abraham Lincoln. The joke plays off Abe's assassination, and honestly, imagine if the reason wasn't politics at all, but that his hat was just way too tall. That's some ridiculous motive someone would be assassinated over today. Honestly, not a bad roast. Kinda want to give the Republicans a bonus point here, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not. The next roast comes in Tales of Two Bryans, after Peter decides he needs a second dog. Brian points out that not only is Peter bringing home a new doggy, but giving the new doggy his exact name kinda feels like a replacement.
Trust me, you guys are gonna get along better than Abraham Lincoln and his neighbor.
Hey, Dale, I noticed your lawn's getting a little high.
I used to have a guy for that.
Okay, now, you have a good one.
That was hilarious. Imagine being called the D word for freeing the slaves. It's not looking good for the Democrats, so we're gonna put a pause on Lincoln and tap in a more recent president, Joe Biden. And his roast comes when Brian, being Brian, can't keep his pants in check and ends up sleeping with a Navy SEAL's wife. With no way out of the mess, he goes back to his default setting.
What the hell is going on here? What is this?
Ruff.
You got a dog?
I rescued him from the pound.
Well, hey there, buddy. Wow, his nose is super wet. He must be healthy. Yup, and somebody's been rooting in a sardine can.
That was close. Rather than bolt for the nearest exit, Brian decides to keep the charade going on for an easy lay. Couldn't have expected anything else. But trying to fool the former Navy SEAL who claims he killed Osama bin Laden is pretty brave. And as you guessed, third-wheeling while acting like an animal can only last for so long.
Hey! Where do you think you're going? You're not going anywhere. I need you, boy. Now more than ever. I think my wife is cheating on me.
Hey, Tori, it's Brian. I'm getting the Chinese food. I'm gonna order some me-like bang ho. That's not a real thing. I'm talking about
What a nightmare. Luckily for him, Chris and Stewie come to rescue his butt, and they were smart enough to bring a backup plan.
We figured you'd say no to us, but not to Vice President Joe Biden.
Mr. Vice President!
Now that was a clever use of political power. Sure, he technically wasn't president in this episode, but vice president is close enough, and Biden thanks him for taking out the guy they only thought was Osama bin Laden. Yeah, that pretty much tells you he probably took out the wrong person.
Hey, you guys watch Veep?
No.
It's all fake.
Yeah, we said no.
Come on, who doesn't love Veep? I've never seen it, but I'm sure someone loved it. Since we're talking about close enough, let's jump to the Republican Peter somehow thinks he's related to, Ulysses S. Grant.
And I'm a born leader, like my great-great-uncle Ulysses S. Griffin.
Chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug.
Yeah! How's that, Robert E. Lee?
All right, no more slaves. But we still don't have to read books.
Deal.
Yeah!
Look, I'm no history major, but I'm pretty sure the showdown between General Robert E. Lee and Ulysses S. Grant didn't wrap up with a drinking contest. Would have been legendary if it did, though. The roast is basically a joke inside of a joke, since it's pretty well known that Grant had a long history of struggling with alcohol. They don't let this gag go away easily, because one season later, they do this.
Robert E. Lee, I knew I'd find you here. Ulysses S. Grant, you invite me to lunch, then show up an hour late, drunk? I was busy looking for your wife. This means war.
I am vanquished.
I hereby declare victory.
Same thing as before, another drunk Grant joke, just told through the lens of how the South wished the war had played out. The last shade to Ulysses Grant happens in Passenger Fatty 7. It all begins when the gang shows actual interest in Quagmire's job as a pilot, not because they actually care, but because it comes with family and friend discounts. So of course they abuse it immediately and take a trip to none other than
San Francisco. San Francisco!
And that's how another of their joyrides begins. They do a tour of San Francisco while riding scooters, get haircuts, and apparently meet Steph Curry.
Dad, I duked.
We gotta stay focused. Keep doing what we've been doing.
Yeah, the fat lady.
Yeah, I see her, Peter.
A great way to tour a city. For their grand finale, they decide to tag along with Quagmire on the plane. With those four on the plane, you just know things are bound to go south.
This plane now belongs to us. You move, you're dead. Nobody try to get smart.
Page 100.
Now, I know the hijacking isn't their fault, but with them on there, the chances of survival are as low as frackin' all hell. Because thanks to Peter being himself, he becomes a hostage for the terrorists. Fortunately for him, his friends swing into action.
Peter, grab onto something.
I grabbed my own belt.
It's at times like this they should be grateful that they have a cop in their squad, because thanks to him and some group efforts, they reclaimed the plane.
God, you guys did it! We're saved!
You wrapped this up quicker than the treaty signing at Appomattox.
So if I sign this, the war is over, and we still get to be forever? Okay, you win.
And that's where President Ulysses S. Grant comes in. If you didn't catch the flow of that roast, it's really just pouring out that even though the war officially ended and agreements were made, some people still act like absolute turds. It's a brilliant mix of history and modern commentary, and hey, at least this time they didn't show him drunk. Back to the Democratic side, who are facing a major setback, no thanks to Grant's drinking problem, the score is 19-15. Luckily, we have another Democrat who wasn't spared in the heat. In Coma Guy, Peter gets forced to read a book, but instead of anything educational, he ends up getting a CD of Panama by Van Halen shoved in his hands, and as usual, he lets it get to his head.
What?
Did they call?
Peter, what are you doing?
I did what you wanted. I went to the library and I got 1984.
Classic Peter, and of course, Lois eventually gets fed up with this new rock star phase of his and forces him to return the CD. Surprisingly, he actually listens, but on his way, he gets into a race with his eternal enemy, the giant chicken. Seriously, what is this frackin' chicken's problem? Because thanks to him, this happens.
Working squirrel.
Okay, well, it wasn't the chicken that distracted him, but not only does this land him in the hospital, he also enters a coma. Now, I have no clue what actually goes on in someone's head when they're in a coma, but among other weirdly specific things Peter sees, he also sees this.
Your President Woodrow Wilson. You reach down between my legs. Ease the seat back. Got the feeling. Power steering. Pistons popping. Ain't no stopping now. Panama.
Woodrow Wilson dedicated a presidential speech to the Panama Canal by reciting lyrics to Panama. Random and yet not unexpected. Still in the same episode, JFK also catches a roast in the scene.
This new Van Halen phase of yours.
Yeah, Dad, it's crazy. Like JFK deciding to cruise through Dallas in a rental.
How'd that convertible work out for you?
Yeah, I don't know. Good.
And did you get all your stuff out of the car?
Kind of.
JFK was assassinated in Dallas, but of course he wasn't in a rental. That part's just made up to tell Peter that that's a bad idea. Lucky for the president, they didn't use one of his bad traits or history to make a crack at him. I hope the Republicans are warming up because the next set of roasts, yeah, they're not getting off nearly that easily. Which takes us to our next Republican, William Howard Taft.
Who's that presidential chub got stuck in the White House tub?
William Howard Taft.
Wait, let's rewind a bit. While Lois is trying to practice decluttering and minimalization from a book she read, Brian is caught up trying to be creative too by writing a 90s funk music thing about William Taft. It's basically a parody of the song called Theme from Shaft by Isaac Hayes, and it does have a ring to it.
Who's the big fat president whose suits look like a flannel circus tent? Taft! They say this cat Taft is a fat mother...
Shut your mouth.
I'm just talking about Taft.
And we can take it.
If you don't know anything about William Taft, that should already give you a hint that he was a little extra weighty. Bringing back FDR for a second, we get the episode The Fat Man Always Rings Twice. The writers go for something new here, a full black and white film noir parody, complete with smoky monologues, dramatic lighting, and Peter acting like he's auditioning for a 1940s detective movie.
The Great Depression hit the town hard. FDR announced we had nothing to fear but fear itself.
The only thing we have to fear
is fear itself, and also bees, or when a man has a beard and then shaves it, because I don't recognize him immediately. If I watched him shave it, it would be different. If I saw the process, and there's this guy Hitler we should probably keep an eye on, but mostly bees.
This is one of the most famous presidential speeches of all time, well, the beginning part anyway. The roast is not just time accurate, but hilarious, because when FDR made the whole "the only thing we have to fear is fear itself" line, he was in a wheelchair, so giving him an extra, very specific fear of bees and casually sliding it into the speech is just chef's kiss. A very good comeback from the Democrats there, so let's see if the Republicans can rise to the challenge. Out of nowhere, Peter gets chosen to be a baseball coach, and as usual, he turns it into his whole personality, but he unexpectedly does really well. I mean, his team even makes it to the playoffs. That is until this happens.
Oh, it's like Medusa's hair in there. I can't stop it. Must sit in a way that pinches my sphincter shut.
What was supposed to be just a frustrated attempt to hold in, poop, turns into a full-blown political statement, and somehow even activists are buying it hook, line, and sinker. You can trust Peter to let it get to his head again.
Down in history, like my great-great-grandfather, John Wilkes Photo Booth Griffin.
Okay, quick history lesson. John Wilkes Booth is the guy who assassinated Abraham Lincoln. This cutaway gag turns that dark moment into a ridiculous joke, as if Lincoln got taken out by some playful bunny ears. It's also a play on words, as Booth killed him in a literal photo booth. Let's see if our next Democrat can tip the scales. One of America's favorite presidents, John F. Kennedy. This happens to be the same episode we meet Joe for the first time.
Say, do you have a screwdriver I can borrow?
Starts with a screwdriver, then before you know it, you're using my supermarket, my dry cleaner, even my postman.
Let's just say Peter wasn't exactly a fan. Not only that, but everyone seems to can't get enough of this wheelie new neighbor. Even Origin Stewie likes him. Because of this, Peter finds himself in a pickle.
Don't go.
Oh, Princess, we have to.
There's a 5-year sleepover at the big house, and you're invited.
I have a feeling the robbery was going better before Peter interfered. With some improv, Peter surprisingly gets the whole situation under control, but there's one teeny tiny problem.
I got him.
Oh, thank God.
Take him out.
Now! John F. Kennedy Pez dispenser. Oh, good thing I still have my Bobby Kennedy Pez dispenser.
This is by far one of the most controversial presidential roasts we've covered today. It's meant to be a funny cutaway gag representing the assassination of JFK. Oh, and not so fun fact, the second Pez dispenser was of Bobby Kennedy, who was also assassinated. Seth MacFarlane, the creator of the show, admitted in a 2012 interview that he regrets this gag, saying it's something he would probably not do now. I wonder if he got as much backlash for this next one.
The airplane's coming in for a landing.
Yeah, I guess the pilot must have been JFK Jr.
Okay, at least it wasn't an assassination joke this time. This gag targets not only JFK, but also his son, who was a pilot who died in a plane crash off the coast of Massachusetts in 1999. Okay, let's cut back to the roast.
Ooh, even I found that to be in bad taste.
If Stewie is questioning the height of the joke, then you know they stooped low. Luckily, fans were cool with it. I mean, they heard worse on the show, so I guess everyone just rolled with the flow. And the Republicans are not liking that flow, so guess who's back in the ring? The scores are so close. We have the Democrats at 20 points and the Republicans at 21. Let's see if they can tighten the deal. In the episode The Fat Guy Strangler, Lois discovers she has a brother who, well, strangles fat guys, so they try to catch him before he can go after Peter.
How are we gonna find them?
Don't worry, Lois. I'm good at finding people. I was the one who found Bush after Hurricane Katrina. Mr. President, are you up there? Sir, there's a disaster in New Orleans. I'm reading Super Fudge. You gotta come down and deal with this. Don't make me do stuff.
I know at this point we're used to seeing Bush portrayed as a bit of a wimp on the show, but this cutaway is rooted in real-life events. Hurricane Katrina in 2005, to be precise. Bush was vacationing while the disaster unfolded, drawing massive criticism for both the delay in his response and the way he handled the crisis. While back to JFK's last roast, this happens in Road to the Multiverse. Brian and Stewie travel through parallel universes, and the first universe is apparently one that never had Christianity. This is the result.
My God, is that Meg?
36D, Brian. In this universe, she's still one of the ugly ones. If you saw Lois, you'd have to put your in a wheelchair.
I wonder how Peter treats Meg in this universe. Anyway, gotta hand it to the animators. They really went very hard in this episode. You'd think rent was due the next morning.
Oh, Stewie and Brian, you're just in time for pie.
Cute, but let's get back to that signature American adult animation look we're all here for. While they surf through multiple universes, they eventually land in a desolate version of Quahog, and it wasn't one of the fun alternatives.
This place looks terrible. It says that in this universe, Frank Sinatra was never born, and therefore he was unable to use his influence to get Kennedy elected. So Nixon won the 1960 election and totally botched the Cuban Missile Crisis, causing World War III.
Frank Sinatra was a popular singer and actor who persuaded people with his charm and charisma, and was really close buddies with Kennedy. And some might say that kind kind of gave a boost to his influence with people, and that's not all.
Lee Harvey Oswald never shot Kennedy?
Nope, he shot Mayor McCheese.
2 presidents cooked in one roast and replaced with the cheese-headed mascot from McDonald's. Oh, not just that, JFK's wife Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis was the one we see eating Mayor McCheese's splattered bits. Let's give a point to Richard Nixon for being caught in the crossfire. Next on the list, we have the current Republican president of the United States representing the red corner.
Don't go in there, it's not safe.
Well done, Peter.
I know a lot of y'all have been waiting for this one. We've already kind of covered him, but trust me, it's 100% worth the wait to talk about him even more, because Family Guy dedicates a whole episode to roasting the president. Peak dedication. In the episode Trump Guy, Peter starts working in the White House, and I gotta say, it's just how I imagined.
Melania's out there blowing bubbles for Eric.
Oh, Dad, I got one in my mouth. It tastes like soap.
Tremendous.
The first Trump roast, besides his character's sunburn appearance, shows his son Eric acting like a child. Anyway, Peter's having the time of his life here, and the Griffins fit right in. I mean, everyone keeps mistaking Meg for the former governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie. No surprise there. Still in line with roasting the Trump household.
Ivanka Trump has a gentle breeze indoors.
Tell those kids, if they ever want to see their parents again, they'll make the shoes. My husband is the son of a felon who went to prison for blackmailing his brother-in-law by entrapping him with a prostitute and then mailing a copy of the tape to his own sister!
I wish the joke stopped at dissing Ivanka's husband, but no.
Let me introduce you to the president. He's kinda like my boyfriend.
Holy schmoly, if you don't live under a rock, you already know about the long-running controversy around Donald Trump and the questionable comments he's made about his daughter's appearance. Family Guy wastes no time turning that headline into a political jab, which brings us to the next one.
Many people are saying it was the best press briefing in all of history.
You're not speaking to President Trump. That's a butternut squash.
Well, if this lumpy orange garbage vegetable is here, then where's President Donald Trump?
It's not even a roast at this point, it's just straight up firing insults at the president. And as if that wasn't enough, Peter follows it up with a shocking discovery.
Mr. President, please. You'll regret this.
You know, the more I talk about this episode, the more I'm terrified I'm going to get sued just for reviewing it. Not only does the show imply Trump is trying to force himself on a minor, but he's not even shown as remorseful about it. Unsurprisingly, fans said the scene went way too far just to land a joke, and as you'd expect, a ton of Trump supporters argued that it was defamatory and completely unfair to his image. At least this part isn't so bad. So when Peter finally confronts him, things don't go exactly the way he expected, assuming he even had a plan in the first place.
You're worth $700 million on the high side, and most of that is borrowed or tied up and underwater. That's why you ain't releasing your taxes. You're cash poor.
Say that again.
You are cash poor.
And just like that, he's throwing fists with the President of the United States. Wish I could show the whole thing, but let's just say it's like WWE with chairs and ladders.
With all that in mind, I've got to say, it was a tight race. But the Republicans definitely took the heavier punches in the show, finishing at 25 to the Democrats' 21.
What do you guys think? Did some of these roasts cross the line, or is Family Guy just doing what Family Guy does? Let me know down in the comment section below, and check out the videos on your screen if you want to see more. And as always, guys, thank you for watching.